Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor with, I don't know what. Let's just call it a bench update. Still been super busy outside, of course. That's why you haven't seen that very many videos. But it's been raining here. I still got my nose strip on. Prayers to all the families that suffered any loss during these storms. Some of them were pretty bad. According to the news, we had a tornado, which is, I don't know, about 5 miles from here, up the road. I have not been up that way to see if there was damage. It's a pretty good sized subdivision, but hopefully nothing major. But so we've had a few days to be down here in the shop, working, organizing, kind of breaking my days up to where at least I'll get one or two containers organized to get that mess in a better shape. I've been fiddling with the 3D printer, just kind of completing between what Norman and Ernest have done for me. There's still a few things that had to be done, so I am 3D printing those. A couple of them here, I'll show you real quick, were these painters. On the green building, the first building will be black building, let's call it. So it'll have black shutters, black doors, black windows. They've hired a painting crew, and we got 2 painters out there, and we'll have a ladder. This guy, I'm going to saw his arm off right at the shoulder and put his arm out like he's holding on to the ladder. So we got to do some adjustment to him, then we'll touch all this back up. But they are both primed and highlighted, so they're ready to be actually painted. We've got some, I can turn you around here and show you. Some other people here in the curing station. It's a little kid sitting on the shoulders. These are people will be standing around the checkerboard watching the, let's call it a competition. They're having a, best of the best. Who's the best in the neighborhood checker game. And of course, Mark Batson won. Yay. And, some of these people are cheering. Some are like, how did he do that? Just kind of a point of interest and adding a little bit more realism to that little area. And we got, let me stand this up, I guess, so you'll get a better visual. Got a lot done on the red and brown building. We're gonna turn it around here, and yes, we got our bright yellow shutters on. We got our red shutters on. We still gotta make the natural wood shutters, but we got our doors installed. Curtains are in on everything. It's hard to see, but there's a junction box right here. There's a light fixture, which is Ernest is making, that goes right here. If you remember, if you've been watching this from the very beginning. And then we've got a wire coming out of the junction box just to represent like the electric wires running to it, even though it'll be LED and it'll be fed through the back. But there's a light that goes there. But we got a conduit in and bent down and into the power box here. The power comes in down through the meter base here and then into the big junction box, basically, is all this is. And then out of here is where, this one goes to this building here. The second one up goes up and over and into this building. This one comes out and over and in for the red building. And then we got a separate wire that they ran for something out of this junction box. So you kind of see that wire running around there. We got our welcome mat in, and that is real material, real soft. But I thought that looked really good sitting on the door stoop. Now, mind you, there's going to be planters here, planters there. We got the big planter box here, and the vines will run up and around, and over, starting to go over on this building. This window will have an iron rack that'll be below it, and flowers coming out of that and coming down. Same way with this one, I'll have a iron rack on it and flowers coming down. I probably got a little ahead of myself and installed these shutters because they may interfere with those metal racks. It's like a small cage, and then a little planter box goes down inside it, and they're made out of iron. And it kind of looks like hand railing, only real short, but I may just put them right here, right below them. More I think about it, I think that's what I'll do. I think they'll go in right there below it. We'll see what they look like when Ernest gets them here, and if so, we'll modify the shutters. I don't want to modify the cages and change that and cause more time. It'll be easy to pop these off and then clean the area up and touch it up, and then I can adjust the shutters. That's not a big deal. But yeah, we got, if we fall back and look at it, you guys can kind of see, if I put a painter up here, like he's painting the door. I mean, he's a little lower than what he would be. He'd be about up here on the door stoop. So there you go. He's painting. So everything's this. I've kind of, I guess, remember how I scaled this to the figure of mini-me, which I know is 1/25th scale. But we are teetering a lot between the 1/20th and 1/25th scale. Kind of all in between. Everything's a little different size. But that's okay. Because you got to remember, guys, in real life, everything's different. Windows are different sizes. Doors are different sizes. People are different sizes, shapes. Some are fat, some are skinny, some are medium, some are chunky, some are taller, some are short. So even if I had scaled everything all in 1/25th scale, it would take something of a figure that is small to find out different sizes. Because if I scaled any adult, they basically would all be the same height, give or take a little bit. I know there is some difference in scaling, but so I kind of ran with it. A 1/24 scale, 1/25th scale, just to play with the scales, but stay within the size of the door frame, basically. There he is. That's an average height guy. He's not tall. He's not short. He's average. Same way down here. If he was to walk in the door, he's average height. He's about the normal height of a person. And then I've got people that are a little shorter than him, a little skinnier than him. So, that's kind of been fun playing with that and challenging, figuring out what I need to do, what I don't need to do, what I need to change. Some people ask why such bright yellow shutters. Well, if you go back and you look at any of these little villas like this, streets in in Sicily and Tuscany and all that, they're just vibrant colors everywhere. Not just in the foliage, but in the way they represent their homes, in their doors, the windows, the shutters. They're all bright in different colors, especially if it's down a row like how we're doing this. You may see blue, yellow, orange, red, black, white, all in one street, because everybody's trying to be different, but yet very vibrant. It's very inviting. It's very, it's attractive. The tourists come in, they see that, it just blows their mind. But if you don't believe me, go look at pictures of those buildings and on the streets. That's just how they are. Now, whatever the rhyme or reason for it is, I'm sure it's just to be different than their neighbor, but it's probably also they want people to come see what they've done. So it's like you live in a neighborhood. Not every house is exactly the same, except for these people that live in HOAs that you only get 3 color choices and but something like this, that it's just a focal point that will draw your attention down that little alley and courtyard. You'll see bright yellow shutters, but there's going to be beautiful red flowers coming up out of there, ivy growing up this side, light fixtures. There's another set of shutters that go down here. So it's going to break it up, but that bright yellow draws your eyes right down that area to that. And that's what I wanted. So, I like it, and I hope you guys like it. So yeah, we got that done. We've not got nothing done to the other buildings so far. I've just been teetering with, the stuff I already have. Kind of weathering a little bit more, adding where I need to add, and just kind of trying to make it look as real as I can possibly make it, is the key thing. We also got little painter buckets. We'll have paint dripping out of it, and we'll do the handles in chrome, so on and so forth. This roof right here, I'm trying to debate. I think I'll just put the light fixture down on the wall. I was going to put a flat plate underneath here and then put the light on up underneath here, but the more I think about it, because once this goes on, it's going to be right there. It's hard for you guys to see. Let me turn you here. So, sorry for the camera angle being cockeyed, but this goes right here, and you can see how it ties all in. The shades, the browns and the stones, the rust. It all kind of blends in. Then you got that bright yellow, bright red. It really adds the character, I think, to the diorama. So I think we'll put our light fixture like down here, because we got this one up here, and we've got a courtyard light that's going to be hanging over the courtyard, and then all the other buildings will have their exterior lights, and there'll be backlighting behind the curtains, and so the windows will light up. So we can call it like early morning, early evening, where it's starting to get dusk. They got a big checker game going on, seeing who's the best. People are out, they got tables out, and they're celebrating, having, food, drink, whatever. But yeah, it's coming together. We got our barrels done. I got to add detail to the bottom, like some moss growing up on it and grass growing around it type thing. So yeah, we kind of got all the pieces we need for here. And Ernest is making the rest of the rooftop stuff. So, when that comes, this building basically will be done, other than the foliage, which, believe it or not, it does not take that long to do. Then we can turn our attentions to this, which I'll be doing this week. Windows and doors, that's where we're at, and shutters. I'm going to make the set of shutters for this window today. And if not, first thing in the morning. That way I can get them installed. And the roof installed. And then I'll get the light fixture mounted, and then the light fixture up here mounted and in, and underneath the porch here mounted and in. That way I can get the wires tied together behind it and run extensions from there that'll reach around the back where the power grid will be. And speaking of power grid, I think what I'm going to do is, if anybody's familiar with electricity, you've got a bus bar like inside your panel, your breaker box. It's got all these little screws, and it's just an aluminum. You can get them in like 4, 6, 8, 12, blah, blah, long. I think I'm going to get one of those, or two of those, probably little ones, 4 screws. And I'm going to run a power pack to that, and then a power pack to the other one. Actually, I'll have to get 4, because there'll be a power side and a negative side for both. That way I can run 2 power packs to that, and then I can just tap my wires into that. And those can be epoxied to the back of the back plate of the diorama, which is that black foam. So none of that will be seen when you're looking at the diorama. It'll all be mounted to the back wall, along with the micro water pump for the fountain. I'm using fairy lights, they call them. That's the backlighting for the buildings. That power box will be back there. So I'll have that. I'll probably have 3 power boxes back there, 1 for the truck, 2 for the buildings, and all the accessories that'll be lit up, and then the fairy light one, and then the water pump. That'll all be mounted to the back wall. Of course, that all takes batteries. So, that's kind of where we're at. Big shout out to Lee Barrett, Zen Modeling. If you guys follow him, keep him in your prayers. He just had some knee surgery, and he's upright, and he's walking on his artificial leg and his real leg for the first time in about, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 years. This surgery came out. He had minimal pain, which is amazing. The past few surgeries he's had, he's been in really rough shape afterwards. It took him a long time to heal. But this one, I think, is going really good. So he's in rehab right now. But he's on lathe. He's making the real aluminum valve covers, real aluminum oil pan, all the real aluminum pulleys, and aluminum air cleaner. And he's into photo etch too, so he's made a photo etch fan. So all those components for the engine are coming from Lee. So I thank him. He's been a good friend for years, and I thank him for his, work he's doing for this diorama. So we got three great gentlemen that are fantastic in their own right for what they do, and old Tom, Rambler 69. He came up with the name for the street. He won out of draw out of the hat. So sometime this week or weekend, I've got a club meeting Saturday, so it probably won't be Saturday. Probably Sunday, I'll be working on the street sign. I've got to make a dead end. I got a picture to go by, but I got a sign I got to make that says dead end, so that'll go on the pole, the name of the street. I got to get the wires up in there and get it assembled and everything painted and weathered a little bit. That way, that's ready to go. So yeah, it's kind of coming together piece by piece. I still keep going down rabbit holes thinking of this I could add, that I could add. I do have I have a print going now, which is the second set of people that'll be standing around the checkerboard thing. And that's kind of it for that. And then I think Ernest has still got a few people to make. What else? And we got all of our, dishes and silverware. Ernest is making the table, so we got those coming. So yeah, all the key pieces is kind of really on Ernest's shoulder, and I can't appreciate him enough for all that he's done and he's doing. So once all that stuff gets here, we'll kind of review it, and then we'll start getting it painted and weathered and like it's supposed to be, and kind of how it should look for the setting. And then it's go. Get it in, get it done. Once we get the other building windows and doors in, and the lights mounted and the wires ran, then it'll be time to marry them to the base. The base has got a lot of work that's got to be done to it. So, here's the, sorry, sidetrack. To give you an idea, these are what we'll be using for the ivy, the vines, and I got the stuff, like I said, to sprinkle on them. We will dye this here and there, kind of a moss green. We might just airbrush the pieces. We might get them how we want them, and then we'll airbrush them. They're pretty light and dark in areas. Kind of plays the theme. So we might not have to do a whole lot to this, other than get our ivy sprinkled on it. This, I'll show you. I think I showed this to you before, but this is kind of already got leaves on it. This is what we'll be using for our flowers. Even though we'll be sprinkling green and the colored on here, so it'll look like it's got some dead growth, some light, fresh growth. But these will be what we'll use for our vines over the arbor or trellis, whatever you want to call it, and coming out of the flower things hanging down, flying down, the ones that go on the steps. I've got the flower pots for those. I just got to get them weathered up a little bit, and then we can start getting that in. So yeah, just little by little, guys. It's believe it or not, it's a lot of work and a lot of back and forth, because you touch stuff and you get this on it and you got to touch it up. I could be a little more precise and wear gloves and be more cautious, but you know, I get into a rhythm and I go and I get this idea, and then I'm like, okay, stop, and I'll do this real quick. And some things go really, really fast without a hitch. The others go a little slower, like the red shutters, for example. I've got the conduit coming down that feeds the meter base. Well, that shutter can't go flat against the wall because of the pipe there, so it's always out. So we made the other one out a little bit too, kind of like they're just hinged that way. The yellow ones are more flat. You know, they have to go by the contours of the stone, so they're not sitting 100% true flat like they would on a brick wall. So if you're wondering why everything's kind of, you know, sitting different, that's because that we're just going with the natural shape of the stones, and where I need to, I'll carve out to let it go back a little further, or build it up a little bit to come out a little bit, whatever we got to do. On the file I'm working on now is some door handles. I know Ernest is making a lot of door handles, but I'm just going to print these off and kind of see what they look like. I think they're more going to be for the garage diorama. But, you know, it's good to have some just to kind of look at and pick and choose what you got. So between me and Ernest, we should have a pretty good assortment of door handles. And what's left over, we'll make a little bin and we'll put, you know, label it diorama stuff and get it put in there. I hope everybody had a good Easter. It was very nice. I got to spend the day with my grandchildren and my children, my in-laws. So, you know, we had great food. We did barbecue out, just burgers and dogs, pork steaks and chicken. And we had a lot of, you know, fixings to go with it. So it was really nice. It was a beautiful day. The rest of the week has been crap, but, you know, it's just part of it. As far as builds go, I am getting in on the senior tribute build. To big thanks to old Tom. He sent me a kit. I was just trying to think of something that would be cool, and I know something that, you know, Terry would have loved, and you know, Tom offered this kit, so I was like, yeah, you know, because what I chose was like, I didn't really want to alter it too much. I kind of like it the way it was, but, you know, I'd be willing to do it, you know, for who it's for, or what it's for, I should say. So once that kit gets here, we'll review it. I'll give you my ideas, what we're going to do on it, and, you know, my official entry into the tribute build. And whether we send it to his family or not, I don't know yet. I think I want to bring it to Acme and set it on the table as, you know, a tribute to him before we do whatever we're going to do with it. Whether we bring it back home, like I said, you know, I consider him a good friend. We weren't, you know, best buds, you know, like that. We're just, you know, good acquaintances, I guess would be the best term to use. But I do miss him. I do miss turning on the TV and watching his lives, and, you know, chatting with him, shooting him some questions if I have any, and just his knowledge was really, really keen for what we all do. But other than that, I did print. I'll show you this real quick before we get out of here. I did print this guy out. He's a little small, but that may play to our advantage in the truck. So, we all know we got Cecilia the villain. You know, that's the name of the truck. The owner, we got him unloading the truck. He's got a crate in his hands. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a driver, and then he is still the owner, you know, of the company or the truck, both. But, you know, he's got this young guy driving, because this guy's a little smaller. And we got a choice of 3 different heads. We've got hair. We've got a ball cap. And then we got Kojak. He's bald. So I don't know which head I'll use on him. But I want to kind of place him in the truck to see if he looks too small. If he does, he's definitely a lot smaller than the owner. That's where I said you play with the scales. But for somebody sitting in the truck, he may just be the right size. But we're going to see. Other than that, we got, show you real quick. They're all cured now. We got a father and a son. It's 2 pieces, so he'll go on there like that. You know, they're cheering on the checker game. You know, Mark Batson just won, so everybody's like, hey. And then we got, you know, kind of an old grumpy Italian dude, Fatty McFatterson, standing around watching. And then the next group is, like I said, the final pieces. But, you know, it's cool. You know, this dude's just got his hands in his pocket. He's standing there. He's got his pack of cigars right here. And, you know, he's just watching the game. Seeing who's next, you know, getting his turn, or getting in line for his turn to play against Mark Batson. It's, you know, win or lose. The winner plays the next person. If that person wins, then the next person plays that person. All the way up to who's the grand champion. Let's just say for giggles. And other than that, I've not heard anything out of Ryan Jones. I say it all the time. He's a super busy man. He's got a lot of responsibilities: family, work, you know, home, a wife. So I know that takes his time and attention first. He's been really kind of working it out on that mill that he's got now to do the lathe for the sleeves for the wheels. So we're really looking forward to whatever he sends us here. Hopefully it'll be soon. Same as MGSF. No updates yet on anything from him. I know he's working at it, and he'll get it out here soon. I don't think what he's working on, I'll get it in time to knock it out for Acme. So, you know, we kind of put a little bit more into the diorama. And we've got Shorty over here. Shorty did have an accident. That's why I've not done any updates on it. When we were rearranging the shop, my sister was in here. She was looking at everything. And like a big dummy, I reached up on the shelf to pull something down to show her, and my shirt caught Shorty and pulled it off the table and shattered it. I got lucky that it broke clean everywhere, but it did break. But I've got it reassembled. No harm, no foul. I got to put a brake line back in now, get everything touched up, painted, and then we can get the engine and drive shaft reinstalled, and we can start our process there. Once we get that all connected, it's basically from there. It's we did get the radiator attached, so we're, you know, that will all be done and ready for the body to marry, and then we can do our final detail underneath the hood. Then it'll be on to the paint, which, you know, it's not going to take me a long time to do. There is some steps involved, but that moves pretty fast for me. Other than that, got an individual block. So just so you guys don't know, if you look at these buildings, you're like, oh, you know, you just hand carve those in there. No. Each one of these stones on this building they all started off like this. Then I hand carved them. I rolled styrofoam or aluminum foil ball over them to create contours and shapes and designs into it. And then I glued them to what I call the wall, which is just another piece of this, just solid. I think it's like an inch and a half thick. And then, you know, I got them close together, and then I grouted everything. And then we just started our painting process. And, you know, by doing that, we were able to achieve that. Same way with the base. Each one of those bricks is individual. I put rocks down in a container with the styrofoam bricks, and I shook it up, and then I rolled the aluminum foil ball over them to give them shape and, you know, like it would be in the real life. And then we glued each one down in place. And then we grouted it like mortar would be, or dirt in this case. And, you know, we got to weather it up some more. So, you know, it's all been very time consuming. You guys know, like I said, if you've been following from the beginning to the present time, of how long that's been so far, we got a head start on it, which is good, and we got a lot done. First, it's just waiting until the first of the year, then starting it, because we wouldn't be nowhere where we're at right now. We got just about all the figures painted, other than the new ones that'll be coming in from Ernest, and the ones that I'm doing. All the ones from Norman we've got painted and done. Let's see. We still got the squirrels to get painted. We got mice and cats coming from Ernest. So those will have to get painted up. So we got quite a bit more to go. Not to mention all the stuff from Norman, the silverware, the dishes, the teacups, the beer bottles, and we got a lot to paint. But I knocked that stuff out pretty fast. I kind of take a chunk or a group and do that group and then get it done and then move on to the next one. And I got a container I've been kind of laying everything down in as I get it done. So all the pieces are in one place. I can just go through there and start putting it where it goes. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I could have taken the 1.5-inch foam and just carved that detail in there, but I wouldn't have got the surface detail like I wanted. Some rocks out further than the others. So it took making individual stones and then carving them and doing that. And people say, well, why'd you go through all that? Well, it's the realism. It's the realistic look of it. Because by the pictures I have, it's kind of how it is. Every stone was different, shaded a little different. If you look real close to it, you can see the red and the brown building with the yellow shutters. Those are a little darker than the rest of the buildings. That's because the light's coming down the alleyway, so everything out here is brighter. Everything back here is a little darker. So I've had to keep that in my mind the whole time. Be careful, don't get this too light because it's darker back here. So everything needs to be just a little darker. And the overall look will be more natural, the way it looks. Another little pro tip, and I know probably 95% of us do this, but for the 5% or more or less that don't, when you're cutting up your wood, your balsa wood, styrene the same way, all your little fall off pieces, don't just throw them away and think it's scrap. Put them in a little baggie or a little container, label them, because you may find yourself needing a little strip, a little piece for this or a little that, and you come up with something you want to do. You've got it. You don't have to cut off a fresh piece to get what you need. So I keep all my little scraps in this bag. As I'm doing stuff here, I'm like, I go back here and I look to see if there's something that's usable first before I cut off a new strip. So there's your little tip. Again, these are all the little junction boxes. These will be throughout all the buildings. And this for the gas station and the garage too. Not just for this diorama. But yeah, we got, just take what we need and paint it up and rust it up and put it on there. There's something else I was going to show you. Oh yeah, we got all these clear bottles. We've got to drill a hole up in there and then we'll use a hypodermic needle and we'll put fluid in there to make it look like there's colored, wine or whatever inside these. And we got some little glasses, or no, there's no cups in this one. These are all bottles, but they're all in clear. So, Norman did a good job on those. And then we've got, here's all of our cups and solid color bottles that'll get painted up, brown and black and maybe a red one or something like that. But we got all those. I got some on this file I'm working on back here. It's just going to be set somewhere. It's a cluster of them together. They're not individual. And I got a little radio to set up on somebody's patio like they're listening to the radio, or maybe we'll put it down by the checkerboard. They're listening to a little music while they're playing checkers. So, I may gotta scratch build a little table to set there, and we'll have the radio on it, and maybe a jug of whiskey or beer, whatever they're drinking while they're playing, type thing. It's kind of like a weekend in the villa type thing, just giving it some background. Other builds, we've got our secret build going on back here. I haven't done anything on that this week. My final parts did come in. The rest of the stuff I'll pick up at the club meeting Saturday. So I'll have 100% of everything I need for that. And that will go really fast and smooth because right now it's ready for paint. And then there's some detailing we got to do, some weathering. and then a lot in the interior. The engine compartment is cut and dry. The trunk will be a little detail, but pretty much cut and dry. So, I'm not really worried about that one. Then we have another one coming from Jay. Y'all know him, Jay's Mini Scale Garage. And that one will be a commission build again, but for something else, which is my holiest of all holy grails, which is, it's either 61 or 62 Oldsmobile F85 station wagon. It's a Joe Hahn. His is a promo that he got, and I've got big plans for that one. We won't start that one probably till next year, but it'll definitely be on the lineup for either at the end of this year or first part of next year. And we got the Challenger we're working on also back here, the 53, Viewer's Choice, the Biden project. So yeah, we got a big workload to take care of, and we're gonna just do what we can do and work at our pace and get her done. I still got a lot of work to do outside, so as soon as this weather breaks, I can get back on that. The faster I get it done, the more time I have down here. So other than that, guys, enjoy the solar eclipse if you're in a viewing area. Monday, I believe it is. We're going to, I think, take a little time and go out and watch it. We're going to be at a different place than here. Got a family outing we're going to be doing. That's about it, guys. Anything else pops up, we'll do a video. But other than that, probably won't be till next week. Gives me more time to get more stuff done on this. So, you guys got any questions? Like I always say, if you see something in the background you want to see, just let me know. Flood those comments. I've explained it before. You can go back to my other videos and see where I've explained it. How that helps. It's not financially gaining to me. It's helped building the channel. The more likes and comments we get, that boosts our channel. It creates more followers, which boosts our channel, and that's what we're trying to do, is build this channel up. And we're doing it the hard way. There's a lot easier ways to do it, but I don't get into all that. I could be monetized. There's just too much involved in it, and this channel will never be that big to where it'd be financial gain for me to do it. It would cost me more time, more money than what I would be getting out of it, so it's just not worth it. Again, I am always open to a sponsorship. It just depends on what the item is at this time. There's a lot of companies out there. If anybody's watching this video, I'm open to it. It just depends on what it is. I would have to know the ins and the outs and see if it would be beneficial for this channel and for us here. Mainly for you guys. If it's going to be something you guys would really enjoy, you'd like to see, and a product that I've used before, that type of thing. It's got to be, it's got to work. It's got to fit. Nothing new on for balling on a budget. I've not come across anything new. A few things, but I'm not done researching them. I like to research them all first, then buy it, see what it's about, try it, and then I'll bring it to your guys' attention. Other than that, it's just gung-ho on this diorama, and cheer on Mark Batson for winning the checker tournament. I think that we'll just call it that was the last game. He's the grand champion, and that's why he's cheering on. The other people are cheering on that are standing around him. So, guys, got any questions? Let me know. Drop them down in the comments. What you think about the diorama, what we've talked about, and we'll see you on the next video, guys. This is Rusty Rotor. Before we leave, I did do, over the Easter weekend, we did the grand reveal to my niece and her boyfriend of the Shelby Mustang. Went over really good. They absolutely loved it. Couldn't believe it, that type of thing. And people that aren't into this hobby and know everything about it are very amazed at it. And that's rewarding to me, the work I put into it, the work she put into my videos. And as soon as she gets a computer or her laptop fixed, whichever it be, she'll be back on it, getting our videos done. But until then, you got to deal with this dude. So, until the next video, this is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.